Good day to everyone. Welcome back to our lecture series in the general mathematics. Our focus today is simple annuity. Simple annuity under the compound interest. Again, I'm Agi, your teacher in general mathematics. May I encourage you to please support this channel by clicking the subscribe button and the notification bell so that should there be a future lesson posted in this channel, you will always be notified. And also, please have your own calculator so that as we discuss the applications of the simple annuity in a worded problem or application in life, you can follow and you can join with my computations. So today, what we will be discussing is the concept of simple annuity. So before we're going to discuss simple annuity, let's try to see first what is meant by annuity. So it says in here, annuity, it is a fixed sum of money paid to someone at regular intervals, subject to fixed compound interest rate. Meaning to say, it is actually a payment of a fixed amount paid to an individual, to someone, to an investment firm, to a bank, or to any institution which lend money to someone. So this amount is fixed and it is being paid in a regular interval or a given fixed interval or fixed schedule, and this amount is subject to fixed compound interest rate. So when we say annuity, it is actually a lesson under the compound interest. The next one would be annuity certain. What do we mean by annuity certain? It is an annuity payable for a definite duration. It begins and ends on a fixed date. So, by the word alone, annuity certain, meaning to say, when we are paying a loan or when we are paying an investment or when we are paying an insurance, your fixed payment is to be paid for a certain duration. Meaning to say, your payment must be definite in such a way that you know when to begin and you know when to end the payment. Of course, at a regular interval and of course subject to a compound interest rate. Okay, so that is a certain annuity. The next one would be annuity uncertain. When we say annuity uncertain, there is a payment, there is a sum, a fixed sum of money that is to be paid, but uncertain in the sense that you do not know when to stop and when to start paying such obligation or such payment or such fixed amount of uh, payment. Meaning, if we are talking of the annuity uncertain, you have to wait until such time that your payment will start. And of course, when you have waited the time to pay, that's the time the annuity begins. And that's the time also that you will know when to stop the payment of the annuity. Another things that we need to understand is the term simple annuity. And so this is our focus now, simple annuity. Simple annuity, the interest conversion or compounding period is equal or the same as the payment interval. Now, what do we mean by this? Now let's try to see first the next statement before we're going to consider explanation. It is where interest is compounded at the same time as the annuity payment. Okay. Now what do we mean by this? Your payment is actually equal to the length of compounding period. So for example, when you have a loan of 10,000 and it is payable annually, and the compounding period is annually also, meaning to say the length of payment interval is 1 year, which is equal to the number of payment in a year. So meaning, how many payment will you be doing or will you be giving in a year? That is the same as 1. And what is the mode of conversion, or what is the interest conversion or compounding period? It is compounded annually, wherein the length of that compounded annually is 12 months, meaning 1 year is the same as the length of compounding period, which is 1. Another one, we have in here payment is each month. Okay, the payment is each month, and of course the conversion period is monthly. Now it says in here, to explain this example, how many times you will be paying in a year? 12 times. Why? Because you will be paying uh, monthly. So monthly. So how many times? 12 years. Now what about the application of the interest rate? The application of the interest rate is compounded monthly, meaning to say every month there is the application of the interest rate. How many times that the interest rate is applied in a year? 12 times. So you will notice there is the equality. So that if there is the equality of the payment interval and the conversion period, the problem is simple annuity. Okay? Simple annuity. Now, should there be an equality or they are not equal, again, should there be uh, again, if the compounding period and the payment interval are not equal, meaning to say the problem is general annuity. Okay, so general annuity. Let's continue. And so it says in here, general annuity, interest conversion or compounding period is unequal or not the same as the payment interval. How are we going to illustrate this one? Okay, so to illustrate this one, you have, shall we say, you have a loan of 10,000 pesos. Okay, you have a loan of 10,000 pesos. Your payment is every 1 year. Okay, your payment is every 1 year, but it is compounded quarterly. Meaning to say, uh, the question is, how many times you will be paying in a year? Once. Okay, but how many times that the interest rate is applied in a year? 4 times. Why? Compounded quarterly. Is there an equality? There is none. The payment interval is not equal to the conversion period. So that is the general annuity. Another example in here is, what about if your payment is every month? Your payment is every month and the conversion period is compounded semi-annually. Now the question is, how many times you will be paying in a year? So you will be paying in a year 12 times. But what about the application of the interest rate? It is applied twice in a year. Okay? So there is the inequality of the compounding period and the payment interval. So those are the terms that we need to understand in this topic under the annuity. Another term is the ordinary annuity. So what is meant by ordinary annuity? It is one where payments are made at the end of each period. Now, what do we mean by this? Now, when we say ordinary annuity, let's try to put an example. You have a loan of 10,000 pesos and you will be paying uh, 2,000 uh, yearly. Okay, 2,000 yearly. So by the end of 5 years, you are done with the problem. You are done with your payments. Now, if the schedule is given yearly, the question is, when are you going to pay? Is it at the end of the year or is it at the beginning of the year? So when you say as ordinary annuity and your payment is made yearly, it will always be paid at the end of the year. When is that? December 31. Okay? So I repeat, when we say ordinary annuity, the payment is made at the end of a given schedule. So when we say your payment is monthly, you will always pay your uh, annuity every end of the month. So that is the ordinary annuity. And here is the example. Periodical payment is January. Now, when are you going to start your payment? Is it January 1 or January 31? The question is, or the answer is January 31. Another one is annuity due. Now, it is the opposite of the ordinary annuity. Why opposite? Because the schedule of payment is at the beginning of the payment interval. So, shall we say your payment is to be made monthly and your payment is, shall we say, uh, January. When are you going to pay during this month? Is it January 1 or January 31? It is always the first day of January. So January 1. Okay? So that is the annuity due and ordinary annuity. They are opposite. So again, uh, if you are the borrower, what do you prefer? Is it the ordinary or the annuity due? Of course, if I will be the borrower, I will always I will always select the payment at the end of the month. Why? It is more advantageous to me as a borrower. Now, what about if you are the lender? Of course, I will select annuity due. Why? Because if the payment is given in advance, I can make use of that payment with other uh, business transaction, such as I will also lend this advance payment to others and I will earn more interest. So that is the simple illustration of the ordinary annuity and annuity due. Ayan. Deferred annuity is one where payments do not commence until a period has elapsed. So meaning, when we say deferred annuity, shall we say you made a loan and today is February, you might be expecting if your payment or if your loan was released today, this February, you expect that your amortization will start by the next month, shall we say March. But in the deferred annuity, uh, until the given condition or when the given condition already occurred, okay? So that's the time you're going to pay the annuity, meaning to say deferred. The payment is still deferred until such time that the lender will say, okay, you start paying now your loan or your investment. Okay, so that is deferred annuity. Now, what about the perpetuity annuity? It is an annuity in which the payment continue indefinitely. Okay. So, what is the example of this one? The example of this one is an insurance. Okay. Insurance wherein there is the continuous payment. So, what kind of an insurance? It could be property insurance. Okay. Why? Because when you will not be paying your insurance continuously, and at one point things will happen, your property might not be paid by the insurance. Why? Because you have already stopped paying the dues, or shall we say the insurance policy. So that is the perpetuity. The next thing that we're going to discuss will be annuity characteristics. Now, what are the characteristics of annuity? Number one would be there is the future value of the annuity. Meaning to say, when we are talking of the annuity, we always talk of the future value. This is the value of the annuity at the end of its term. Or the question is, how much is the amount after the term of the annuity, or after the term of the loan, or any agreement relating to annuity. Okay, so how much is the amount? Now another one is the present value. What is the present value? When we say present value, the question is, so that you will be having this future value, how much would be the amount that you will be lending or that you will be investing, okay, today, for you to earn this amount in the future. That is what we mean by present value. So again, when we say present value, the question will goes like this. If you would like to earn this future value at the end of 10 years, what would be the amount that you need to invest today? So that amount is called to be the present value. Okay? So that is the future and present value, wherein they are the characteristic of the annuity. Another one is amortization. Now, what do we mean by the amortization? This is the making of periodic payment. Okay, so again, this is the periodic payment uh, of, shall we say, a loan or any investment for that matter. Okay, definitely this is always applicable to a loan. Okay, so when we say amortization, this is the combination of principal and interest to be paid at a regular interval. So again, amortization is the making of periodic payment of any loan. Okay, this payment includes the principal and the interest within that certain uh, period of payment. So here comes now the computation of the future value of simple ordinary annuity. Okay, so our focus in this computation is the future value of simple ordinary annuity. But before we're going to have the computation, may I request you again, my dear student, to please have your own calculator so that as we go on with our problem, you will follow how we compute. Okay, so if you cannot follow uh, right away, you can pause this one, you can pause watching, and then go with the computation. After computing, then proceed watching the video. That is how you will learn the computation of this annuity. Now our focus is simple ordinary annuity, future value of simple ordinary annuity. Now, again, what are the things that you need to understand when we are talking of the future value of the simple ordinary annuity? The word simple, there is the connotation. When we say simple, The problem must indicate that the payment interval must be equal to the compounding period. Okay, so simple annuity. Now, what about when we say ordinary? The payment must be given at the end of the payment interval. So when the payment interval is monthly, it is always at the end of the month. Okay, so that's why the problem pertains to simple ordinary annuity. It says in here, the future value of annuity is the sum or is the amount due at the end of the term. Okay, that is, it is the sum of all periodic payment and interest accrued up to and including the final payment. So that is the meaning of future value of simple ordinary annuity. Now, what is our working equation? Our working equation is, we have in here, future value of simple ordinary annuity is equal to the P in here does not represent the principal, but P in here represent the periodic payment multiplied by the quotient of the sum of 1 plus rate over n, which is the mode of conversion or period of conversion or compounding period raised to an exponent, product of n and time minus 1 over this one rate over n. So that is the working equation of the future value of simple ordinary annuity. Mind you again that in your module, there are deviation or there are the variables being used in the future value of simple ordinary annuity is somewhat different from mine, but we have the same concept, the same idea. Okay, so P is the periodic payment, N is the period of conversion or conversion period or mode of conversion. Another one is R is the annual rate and T is the time or term or period. So those are the meanings of variables. Okay, so the next thing that we'll be looking into is the application of the working equation that we have already discussed. Okay, so again, have your calculator. Here is the problem. Find the amount of a 2,000 pesos at the end of every month with an interest rate of, I'm sorry, interest rate of 5% compounded monthly for 3 months. Now, how are we going to answer this one? So to answer this one, let's try to analyze. So it says in here, end. So when we have sent this one, the payment is to be made at the end of every month, meaning we pertain to ordinary annuity. Okay, ordinary annuity. Another one is the payment is made every month, okay, and compounded monthly. Meaning to say, so if the payment is made every month, that is the payment interval, and the conversion period is monthly, meaning to say we are talking of the simple annuity. Now let's try to consider analyzing further the problem. So periodical payment is 2,000 pesos, okay? And of course, the annual rate is 5%. Another one is the conversion period is monthly, which is how many conversion period in a year, 12 months. And the term or period of the, shall we say, investment. So 3 months. Okay. Now let's try to continue having the problem or solving the problem. Identify the given. So our periodical payment is 2,000 pesos. The N is 12. Your rate in here is annual rate. Okay, this are annual rate. This is annual rate. And of course, the term or period of the investment or a loan should is 3 months. Okay. Now, what is the problem? What is the future value of simple ordinary annuity? Or shall we say, what is the future value of this uh, payment at the end of 3 months? Okay. So how do we solve for the problem? Okay, to solve the problem, make use of this working equation. I made use of color coding in here so that you will always understand how to substitute. Okay, so we have in here future value, ayan, is equal to periodical payment, 2,000 pesos, multiplied by, ayan, 1 plus annual rate, which is in here, annual rate is 5%. What is your N? That is, we have in here 12 and raised to 12 multiplied by 3 over 12. Now, why 3 over 12 in here? Because when we are going to compute for an annuity, we compute by converting the month into year. Okay? So, we compute by converting the number of months into a year. So that is the same as 3 over 12 minus 1. Okay? Divided by of course, annual rate divided by n, which is we have in here 5% divided by 12. Okay. To continue, future value is equal to 2,000 pesos is equal 2,000 pesos multiplied by, ayan. So we have in here that is the same as 5% divided by 12. So it will give you this one plus 1. It will give you 1.004166. Of course, this one is to be multiplied by this. So it will give you through 3. It will give you 3 minus 1 divided by this, the result of 5% divided by 12, which is 0.0041666. Ayan. So that is the value. Now to continue, you raise this one to the third power and deduct 1. Okay? And of course divided by this one. So let's continue. So we have in here the uh, final amount would be the future value of the investment after 3 months is 6,025 pesos and 0.35 cents. To get the future value, press 2,000 times the quotient of the quantity 1 plus the quotient of 5%, which is to be converted into decimal form, which is 0.05 divided by 12, which is the conversion period of the problem, close parenthesis, raised to an exponent, 12 multiplied by 3 months, which that 3 months must be converted into a year, times the quotient of 3 divided by 12 months, that is minus 1. Okay, then go to the denominator, the quotient of 0.05 divided by the conversion period, which is 12 months, then press side, okay, then press equal sign. So you will notice the final answer would be 6,025 pesos and 0.35 cents. Next problem. We have in here, in order to save for her high school graduation, Sarah decided to save 300 pesos at the end of each month. If the bank pays 0.25% compounded monthly. How much will her money be at the end of 6 years? Okay, so again, to analyze the problem, again, let's try to analyze if this is under the simple ordinary annuity. Okay, so it says in here, the payment is every month. Okay, every month. Okay, and compounded monthly. So meaning to say they are equal. So this problem is under the simple annuity. Okay, annuity. Now, what about if this is under the annuity due or simple or ordinary annuity? Now, it says in here, the payment is at the end. Okay, at the end. So, if the payment is to be made at the end of the payment interval, this is under the meaning of ordinary annuity. Okay, so that is how to analyze. Okay, so again, continue analyzing the problem. Periodical payment is 300 pesos. Annual rate is 0.25%. Okay, mode of conversion is 12. Okay, of course, term or period of the savings is 6 years and 6 years. Now, in order to solve for the problem, get again your calculator and try to follow the computation. Of course, before we are going to compute, identify again the given. Okay, so the given are the following: periodical payment, 300 pesos. The mode of conversion or conversion period is 12. Annual rate is 0.25%. And the term of payment is 6 years. What is the problem? Future value of what? Of the savings at the end of 6 years. Here is the working equation. You just follow it with your you just follow it. As you will notice, I made use of the color coding so you can easily identify what to replace or what to substitute. Okay, let's continue. And we have in here a computation now. Let's continue computing now. So we have in here future value is 300 pesos multiplied by and 1 plus 0.25% divided by 12 raised to 12 multiplied by 6. Okay, as you will notice, this is already in years, so we do not need to convert this one into years because the 6 is already in years. Okay, minus 1. Of course, divided by this quotient, 0.25% divided by 12. Let's continue. 300 pesos multiplied by the result of this one. So the result of 0.25% divided by 12 is we have in here. And what about this one? 12 multiplied by 6, 72 minus 1. And divided by the result of this one, which is we have in here. Okay, 0.000203. Let's continue. The final amount is 21,760 pesos and 53 centavos, which is final amount at the end of 6 years. Press 300 times the quotient of the quantity 1 plus the quotient of 0.25%, which is converted to decimal, that is 0.00250 divided by the conversion period, which is 12 months because that is monthly, and then close parenthesis raised to the given exponent, which is 12 multiplied by 6, which is the term of the savings, minus 1, and after that go to the denominator, the quotient again of
0.00250 divided by 12 months. After that, press side, and press equal sign. So you will notice the final result is 21,760.53 centavos.
Before we end this lecture, I hope I shared to you ideas about simple annuity in my humble capacity. Again, please like, click subscribe button and click the notification bell so that should there be any uh, lesson posted in this channel, you will always be reminded. Thank you for listening.